I went to Brussels for the first time and here's everything I ate during the trip. This is a chain bakery from France. They don't have one of these in where I'm from and it's my first time seeing it. That's why I like to give it a try. First thing I got is this briochette, which I think means little brioche. This thing doesn't have any fillings or toppings whatsoever. I just want to try the simple plain brioche. Tastes like egg. I also had this bacon and cheese breadstick. It's a crusty stick of savory bread with bits of crunchy baked cheese on top, and I like this one a lot. For lunch we found this restaurant that's packed with people, and a line formed after we sat down. So I think I'm pretty lucky getting a table there. And since I'm in Belgium, I got to try some Belgian beer. I got this blonde one that kinda tastes like coriander and citrus. And I also tried this raspberry beer that's recommended by the person serving us. It has a relatively low alcohol content and it's quite sweet and sour. Pretty good with the food we're gonna have. For food, I had this pork knuckle served with the mustard sauce. It also came with a whole baked potato and a side salad. As you can see, the portion here is pretty hefty, and the large portion seems like a trend across the city. The pork knuckle here is slightly cured, so you can see the meat is a little bit pink here like ham. The meat was tender but still got a little bit of chew, and it goes well with the slightly acidic mustard sauce. The other thing I had is this chicory roll. Minced pork is stuffed inside this slightly bitter chicory leaves, and the whole thing is wrapped in bacon. And it came with a sauce that made with brown Belgian Trappist beer, and I could taste the malty flavor in the sauce. This dish might be my favorite thing I had on this trip. In the afternoon, we found this super popular place that sells seafood and wine and has an outdoor standing dining area, and I had this kibelings. I fell in love with these fried fish pieces when I first visited Leiden last year. These fresh pieces of fish are fried to order. It's crispy and still got a little bit of bite to the flesh, and with the herby tartar sauce, it's just the perfect street food. After that, we went to the Brussels Beer Project tap room. They're a cool microbrewery in Brussels that makes a bunch of different kind of beer. They do this beer tasting trade so you could try 4 different in-house beer at once. I tried an IPA, a Pilsner, a German style Weiss beer, and a sour that tastes like coriander. And for dinner, I had sushi. We found this place selling different kinds of sushi rolls. Some options are more traditional and the other ones are more creative. We ended up having a cream cheese and salmon roll, which is pretty standard, and another one with shrimp, tempura, avocado, teriyaki sauce, and fresh jalapeno on it. This one is actually pretty wild. I've never had or seen a sushi roll with fresh jalapeno on it. I was skeptical at first, but after tasting it, it kinda makes sense. The jalapeno gave the sushi roll a little bit of heat, as well as some freshness and crunchiness. It kinda plays the same role as a cucumber in a sushi. If I see that again in the future on the menu, I wouldn't mind ordering it. Later that evening, we found a place that sells Belgian waffle. I had one with frozen yogurt and strawberry on top. The waffle itself is sweet and buttery, a little bit caramelized on top and a little bit chewy. To me, it kinda tastes like a compressed, crispy croissant. This one was so tasty, we decided to have another one the next day. The next morning, we decided to do a little bakery crawl across the city. As someone who likes to bake, I always try to taste as much bread as possible when traveling. The first bakery we went to is a really busy one. A lot of people were lining up. I feel like they're mostly locals trying to get the breakfast fixed. I had this chocolate and custard twist, which was pretty tasty. The next bakery we went to is a more upscale Artisan Sourdough bakery. This micro bakery mainly sells big loaves of sourdough bread, but they also do a few smaller ones with fillings. I tried this sourdough with apricot and walnuts in it. It's my first time trying this combination, and I think they go pretty well with each other. The last bread I had that day was from this cool bakery cafe. On top of a brioche bun, they put half of a fresh peach on it. It looks really cute and I've never tried anything like this before. The peach was really juicy, but it didn't make the brioche soggy. So, I think French fries were invented in Belgium. And since I was there, I went to this shop that's pretty famous for selling French fries. This place got a ton of reviews on Google Maps. I also saw it mentioned on several travel blogs. And so I came here with a pretty high hope. Maybe it's on me to expect some kind of life-changing French fries. But I cannot say I'm not disappointed after trying this. To me, the fries were a little bit overcooked. They were more crunchy than crispy. Wouldn't say they're bad, but I've also had better fries somewhere else. After that, we went to another tourist famous spot. This place is like the most mentioned waffle bakery on the internet. And since I had a really good waffle the night before, I once again held a pretty high expectation for this place. I ordered the waffle with chocolate sauce, hazelnuts and whipped cream. And honestly speaking, I feel like the one I had the night before was better than this one. The waffle itself from this shop is super light. I feel like I was biting onto the crust and then nothing else. It's almost like eating a souffle with a slightly thicker crust. Probably it's just me, but I do prefer my waffle with a little bit of bite. It's almost the end of the trip and there's one famous dish I've yet to try. And that's Movefr, which means mussels and fries. I saw this dish being served in almost every bistro and bar in the city, and it's only fitting for me to try it at least once before I leave. The mussels were cooked in a sauce with white wine, cream, garlic and parsley. Oh, and celery too. It tastes pretty good. It came with a basket of baguette for you to mop up the sauce, as well as a huge plate of fries. The mussels were fresh and plump, much meatier than I expected. The sauce was simple but pretty sweet and fragrant. I was pretty full coming to this bistro after all the food, but I still finished that huge pot of mussels. And yeah, here's everything I ate in Brussels. And food-wise, I feel like this city has a lot to offer. I feel like food here are mostly hearty stuff with comforting flavors. But if you look further, there are also some really delicate stuff for you to discover. And yeah, that's everything I have for this video. If you like my content, please consider subscribing and leave a like on this video. I make a bunch of food and traveling vlog like this one. And see you next time. Bye bye.